Hello Pokemon trainers, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video here on iStarLeech TV. Today we are talking about the 7-star Mewtwo raid event, which is now live in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It will be live for 2 whole weeks, I believe, from now, September 1st until September 17th. And I'm going to talk about my strategy that got me to beat this raid. I beat it on my first try, but I had been following like the online discourse. And basically this raid is very, very hard. It's the hardest raid we've had so far. And it's basically impossible to do this raid solo. And so it's very hard if you're trying to do it solo or if you're doing it uncoordinated. But if you know what you're doing and you're with a lot of people who know what they're doing, then it is really not that hard. But again, you have to kind of put in that work. So basically the Mewtwo has Calm Mind, Psy Strike, Ice Beam, and Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere, I don't know why I said that weird. And it's a Terra Psychic type, of course. And at the very beginning of the raid, before anyone can do anything, it sets up a shield for half of its health, and it sets up a Calm Mind for free. So it basically starts the raid with +1 special attack and +1 special defense, and a giant shield that you have to break. So the way you want to go with this raid is Mew. You need to bring Mew basically because Mew gets a stat boost actually, because it's kind of like the gimmick of this raid is that you're taking on Mewtwo with Mew. You can bring other Pokemon, but I would say the vast majority of people on your team should have Mew. If no one has Mew, I don't know if you're going to beat this raid. I mean, I guess challenge accepted, right? But I think the best Terra type for Mew also is Bug. So I'll talk about my Mew's moves and my strategy as well and other strategies, because I wanted to kind of show the raid as it's playing out, and I thought if I just narrated the entire raid, it would kind of take long and get a little long-winded. So I just kind of wanted to talk about it with the raid footage in the background there. So, you know, I talked about what it does turn 1, and with your Mew, I think you should have the move Struggle Bug. You also want to max out your PP on probably all of your moves, especially your offensive moves, because it is going to, it's going to take a while. So if you don't have PP ups on all your moves or your PP maxed out on all your moves, you might run out of moves, and that is really bad if that happens. You are going to faint at that point if that happens, and the more you faint, the more the timer runs out, and it's very difficult to do the raid at that point. I actually did this raid without fainting. I think you want to spam Struggle Bug for the first couple of turns, and again, if you're a little coordinated with the people you're playing with, you know, I joined a person's TikTok stream, and I was watching them stream, so they were kind of like saying things that we should do and stuff, and I was kind of listening to what they were saying and what they were doing and kind of coordinating with that, so that helped. And again, I just went Struggle Bug twice in the beginning, which lowers its special attack, and I think we all used Struggle Bug, so we basically all lowered its special attack right away. So it kind of completely negated the Calm Mind that it did earlier. And you also want to try to do a physical Mew, so you want Leech Life as well. And again, Tera Bug is the best Terra type. So Leech Life is good because it deals physical damage, and Mewtwo is boosting its special defense with Calm Mind, and it does not boost its physical defense. So you definitely, I think Leech Life is the best way to go there. It also heals you on top of that. So just another good reason why you should go Tera Bug with Struggle Bug and Leech Life. I think those first 2 moves are almost like required. And then the rest of the moves you can kind of decide. I really wanted to go offensive Mew with Swords Dance, but the funny thing is I did not have a Swords Dance TM, and I did not have enough Pokemon like materials to make Swords Dance, and I was trying to find a Zangoose because you need Zangoose to make the Swords Dance TM, but I couldn't find it, and I didn't have one in my boxes, so I couldn't use the Ditto technique to get the Zangoose materials to make the Swords Dance TM, so I didn't use Swords Dance. And here's the other hilarious thing, I actually technically didn't have an item on my Mew. So here's the funny thing, my moveset is Struggle Bug, Leech Life, Mud Slap, and Misty Terrain. So the first 2 moves, like I said, are pretty much required, and then from there, it depends on what you want to do with the Mew, whether you want to be like a more offensive Mew with Swords Dance, like I said, or a more supporty Mew. As far as support moves go, there's good options like Light Screen, Misty Terrain, and Life Dew. Those are probably the best, and Mud Slap, which I had. Because I couldn't find a Swords Dance TM, I ended up using Mud Slap, which lowers its accuracy, and I got up to 6 Mud... I went for Struggle Bug twice at the beginning, and then I basically spammed Mud Slap like 6 times, which made it so that Mewtwo was missing a lot of its moves. It does reset stats pretty early on, though. I think when about approximately a quarter of the timer was done, it reset its stat drops and it reset our stat boosts. So you gotta be on top of that. Misty terrain or electric terrain are also, I think, requirements for at least one of the Mews to have. So again, you kind of want to coordinate with the people you're playing with and make sure at least one of them has Misty terrain or electric terrain, because this Mewtwo has Rest with a Chesto Berry, and it will recover full health, which is a nightmare. And you'll see a little spoiler alert here. I had Misty terrain. We had a person on our team who had electric terrain, and the person who was streaming was saying like, oh, just make sure to Misty or electric terrain or whatever. Or he's like, does anyone have electric terrain? And then someone said they had it. So I knew that someone had it, so I didn't go for my Misty terrain. But basically what happened was we got to a point pretty soon here coming up where the person had used electric terrain, but I think they mistimed it. So it ran out, and then the Mewtwo used Rest. So we got it really low here. Well, I mean, we're really good on time here. But eventually it is going to use Rest because, again, the person's electric terrain ran out, and it's going to get right back up to full health. Luckily, we had broken the shield, though, so once it recovers full health, we still were doing some good damage because the shield was gone. There, it uses Rest right there. So, I didn't use Misty terrain because I figured that person had it under control because they said that they had electric terrain and that they would use it. So I kind of wanted to defer it to them, and I didn't want to waste any turns using Misty terrain when they were going to be using electric terrain. The thing about Misty and electric, Misty terrain makes it so that no Pokemon on the field can be statused. So I think Misty terrain is better because it means that Mewtwo cannot be put to sleep, which means it cannot use Rest. And it means that it cannot freeze anyone with Ice Beam. And it has Ice Beam, so you want to make sure, I think Misty terrain is better. But in a last-ditch scenario, if you don't have Misty terrain, electric terrain is also good because it prevents sleep, so the Mewtwo cannot rest. That still means that Mewtwo could freeze people, hypothetically, but this Mewtwo rarely ever used Ice Beam. And also, worst case scenario, if it does freeze you, you can use a Heal Cheer to remove the freeze. So again, we're kind of working back from square one because it recovered its full health. And, you know, spoiler alerts, we did beat this raid. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the general points of what I wanted to talk about. This Mewtwo raid is extremely difficult if you're not coordinated and if you don't bring Mew and if you try to do it solo. I do not think it's possible to do it solo. Maybe it is, but I kind of saw when the raid went live last night, and I was looking online for strats and just seeing people talk about it and people saying like it's basically impossible. But then once people kind of got the handle of it and realized that Bug Mew is kind of the best way to go, it became easier. And when I was looking on TikTok today, I didn't really plan on doing the raid, but I saw someone was streaming and they were doing the raid, so I was like, let me throw together a Mew here to do it. And like I said, I didn't have Swords Dance TM, even though I wanted to. So, you know, if you want to go more offensive, you can go Struggle Bug, Leech Life, Swords Dance, and then your fourth move can kind of be whatever you want. Again, I think you need to go Tera Bug. If you go Tera Dark, you should not go Tera Dark. You should not go Tera Dark because the Mewtwo has Aura Sphere, of course, so you would get destroyed. And as far as Tera Ghost, that's a decent type as well, but I think, again, Tera Bug is best because you have a strong physical bug type move, and I don't think you have a physical ghost type move. Maybe there's Shadow Claw, but it doesn't heal you like Leech Life. So Leech Life is just, I mean, or Tera Bug is just kind of all around the way to go. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the basics of it. You just gotta have 4 Mews, preferably 4 Tera Bug Mews. I did see someone beat it with 3 Mews and an Oranguru, and I think the Oranguru was using like Instruct, which, you know, made the Mews use their moves again, like what's it called, Struggle Bug again and Leech Life again. But you know, just train up a Mew, train up a Tera Bug Mew. My EVs were HP and attack. Sorry, and then this is the funny part. I think I was going to mention this earlier, but I don't think I got around to it. But the funny thing is, I actually kind of don't have an item. I put the terrain extender on my Mew because I was like I said, I joined a person on a TikTok stream, and they had created the code, and I just wanted to kind of get in the lobby as quickly as possible. And I was quickly looking through my items, and I didn't really have anything that was good. Like Leftovers, I don't think is good because you recover the HP each turn, and it kind of like takes time out of the battle. Shell Bell is pretty good too. I probably should have looked for that. I think Shell Bell is a good item. Terrain Extender can be a good item if you are using terrain. Light Clay can be a good item if you have Light Screen. But I put Terrain Extender on my Pokemon and I never even used the Terrain move, so I basically had no item, which is hilarious. I guess also I think it's Silverpowder, which is the item that boosts bug type moves, or Bug Plate, the Arceus item. So there's a lot of good options. I think you either want to boost your bug type attacks or you Shell Bell. Anyways, here are the rewards. You get 100 Psychic Tera Shards, which is a lot. Now, the sad thing is Psychic is not a very good Tera type, but You also get, I think you get 3 gold bottle caps, which is cool. You get a Bright Powder and a King's Rock for what it's worth, and then just a bunch of random like candies and stuff. You can do this raid as many times as you want to get the rewards, but you can obviously only catch Mewtwo once. So I'm going to quickly show off my Mew. There's the Terrain Extender. I have 8 max HP, max attack with an Adamant Nature, and those are my 4 moves. And there is my Mewtwo with the Unrivaled Mark. Now here's the awesome thing. Your Mew, if you do this event with Mew, your Mew will also get the Unrivaled Mark. So you can see there I put it on my Mew. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty fun. And here's the Mewtwo in action. So that's how you do the Mewtwo Tera Raid event in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Again, just to kind of quickly put it all on the page, I'll put more info in the description as well. But like I said, I think you want to go probably max HP, max attack with an Adamant Nature, almost no matter what you do, unless you're going to be pure support and you know that you'll have other people on your team who are offensive. Then you could do probably max HP and max defense, because I believe Psystrike hits your defense. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So it's a special attack, but it hits your it deals damage based on your defense, I believe. You could also go max HP and max special attack if you want. Like I said, Struggle Bug really carries you as well, because it just lowers Mewtwo's special attack, which makes it so that its damage is not, it doesn't do as much damage. And because if you use Mew, you get the stat boosts. That's another reason why Psystrike just doesn't do quite as much damage. But again, Struggle Bug is pretty much necessary. I know I have an Adamant Nature with max attack, and I'm using Struggle Bug, which is a special move. But again, I think it's just so important to have a move that deals even a little bit of damage, but most importantly, lowers Mewtwo's special attack. Because status type moves or moves that don't do damage do not work on Mewtwo when it has the shield up. So you cannot taunt it if it has the shield up. You could not like Screech or whatever the case if it has the shield up. So that's why you need moves that do damage in addition to having those additional effects. I did use Mud Slap a few times. Like I said, I used Struggle Bug twice, and then I used Mud Slap like 6 times, and then Mewtwo reset its stats. And then for a while I did not use Mud Slap again, because I was focusing on using Struggle Bug for lowering its stats, and then using Leech Life to heal up. And then eventually I did Mud Slap again like 4 or 5 times, and it missed a couple moves from there. So it was pretty valuable, but honestly, it did miss some moves. The Mewtwo did miss a few moves throughout the battle, but I still think Struggle Bug's just better. Like, if I were to recommend this, I would say Struggle Bug, Leech Life, and then honestly, the last 2 moves don't really matter too much. Pollen Puff is another good option, but I think if you want to run Pollen Puff, because Pollen Puff will, it's a special attack, it's 90 base power, which is pretty decent. It heals your teammates if you use it on them, and it deals damage to the enemy if you use it on it. So it's like a damaging move that can also heal, which is pretty awesome. But again, Mewtwo boosts its special defense with Calm Mind, so it might not be the best option. But I do think you want as many damaging moves as possible, because like I said, since we rested there, or since the Mewtwo rested, one of the people in the raid was running out of Leech Lives. So they almost ran out of Leech Lives there. But again, you definitely want to PP max your Leech Life and your Struggle Bug. And then the other 2 moves, like I said, there's a Swords Dance, there's Light Screen, there's Life Dew, there's Misty Terrain, there's Pollen Puff, there's Mud Slap. I think those are the other options. So it's pretty open. And for EVs, I think max HP and max attack is just fine, and Adamant Nature, kind of regardless of what you do. Because as you saw there, like, I kind of just threw it together, and I didn't have Swords Dance even though I meant to. I didn't have an item on my Mew, and I still beat it pretty easily. But of course, I had help. So if you know that you're going to have plenty of people on your team that can deal damage, I think you want a good balance. Either 2 offensive Mews and 2 support Mews, or like 3 offensive Mews and 1 support move, or 1 support Mew. I don't think 1 one offensive Mew and 3 support Mews is good enough. So a lot of flexibility there, but when you know what you're doing and when you're playing with people who also know what they're doing, this raid is not that hard. But I would recommend finding a Discord or Reddit or a YouTuber or streamer who's doing this. I know the Super Effective, or Pokemon Cast, I think is called. It's Super Effective Podcast. He streams on Twitch a lot, and he'll probably be streaming today. And he also tries to help a lot of people out. So be on the lookout for that. You know, I wish I could stream today, but I don't have time, unfortunately, because I could help people out. But, you know, it's unfortunate that you kind of have to do this raid with people, and in the past I've preferred doing these raids solo, but you can't do this one solo. So good luck out there. Let me know how this goes for you. Let me know if there's another Mew strat that I'm missing out on, or even another Pokemon that's not Mew that you used to beat this raid. But like I said, this is a really hard raid, so good luck out there, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet videos, and again, let me know in the comments how your experience with this event has been. I'll see you next time.